Two key electorates where teal independents are trying to snatch seats from the Liberals include the blue ribbon areas of Kooyong and Goldstein. Those seats have historically had a more affluent range of voters, but as Simon Love has discovered, the demographics there have changed, proving, the vote could change too.
It's peaceful by Melbourne's Port Phillip Bay. The Brighton beach boxes and sands of nearby Sandringham a clear draw card for white-collar families and workers. But the blue ribbon seat of Goldstein is changing, and the demographic evolution might give a clue as to how the seat may swing on election night.
It is a electorate that behaves like a regional town. What I mean by this is that the young people leave Goldstein immediately. Once they're 18, they leave the area. In some inner city areas, you have the young people hanging around the parental homes for a bit longer.
Simon Kuestenmacher has been studying Bureau of Statistics data for several years. Consulting for big firms, he now runs a business called the Demographics Group, alongside respected analyst Bernard Salt. Both researchers are keeping a close eye on the federal election and say Goldstein is one to watch, not just for the vote, but also for its changing dynamics.
The bright red suburbs means you lost quite a bit of population. The slightly red suburbs mean you haven't lost that much population. But overall, the whole electorate lost population. They lost population because the usual growth in pre-pandemic times was driven by international people moving in.
And that despite a strong grassroots campaign, Goldstein could on paper be a tough seat for Zoe Daniel to win.
Well, it is a Jewish hotspot, if you will, but it is not big enough to really shift the votes.
Rather, other issues are on voters' minds.
But house prices went up like crazy. In Brighton, house prices went up $700,000 in just 2 years. That's crazy.
Has that happened much in other seats across the nation?
Wherever you look, even if population declines, house prices go up.
His analysis shows those who simply can't afford Goldstein have left for booming areas on the outer fringe, such as the hotly contested seat of McEwen.
If people living in McEwen have more options to work locally, as opposed to having to jump in the car and drive for an hour or two each way for work, then that's great for quality of life.
The Federal Coalition pledging to build a freight terminal nearby to an area with many young families looking for property. Federal Labor has held the seat for 12 years.
What do young voters want? And if I was a PM running for government in those electorates, I would really try to convince the young voters that this is an attractive area, and I would try to capture the young family vote.
Many young voters too have moved to Kooyong, where apartment towers have sprung up alongside developed houses on big blocks of land.
The sheer demographic force of young people moving into Kooyong will potentially shift this seat a bit more towards the left, you could argue.
So it would help Labor?
It would help Labor, yes.
But it seems in Kooyong, Labor is still running dead, and as John Howard campaigns strong beside Josh Frydenberg, Climate 200-backed independent Monique Ryan is putting up a tough fight, proving in Melbourne and anywhere across Australia there is fertile electoral ground for potential politicians to exploit. Simon Love, Sky News, Melbourne.